We live in a world today where most things could be mass-produced. So why do we still want to make things by hand? So tonight I'm going to attempt to give you my personal answers to that question. I love to cook, and I love making everything from scratch because I love touching and looking at all the ingredients. While I do show off my finished products, sometimes I more often find myself looking at parts that are on their way to the compost, or I look at the stains and traces left behind on the dinner plates. I seem to be more interested in things that are not so glamorous, or things that are a little weird or even disturbing looking. Even though they're really just normal parts of natural food that we consume, I find it interesting that most people get a little creeped out by them when they look at them close up. And I seem to have this weird ability of seeing food in non-food objects, or I can relate imperfections in objects to imperfections in the human body. So back in grad school, I once developed this obsession with navel oranges. I was often found in the produce aisles in the grocery stores fondling fruits. And I would only buy the oranges with the most outrageous navels. So this obsession developed into a group of work that I titled Orifice. These were 2 inches by 2 inches brooches fabricated out of copper sheets. Fabrication just means that there was no casting involved. Everything was formed by hammering and pressing. These pieces really brought into focus the fact that while jewelry attracts positive attention to the body, physical deformities do not. I've been listening to the Buddhist teachings by Pema Chodron, who talks a lot about leaning into the sharp points or going to places that scares you. So years later now, I look at stuff that I'm drawn to. I realize this is what it's about. It's about appreciating all sides of all sides of reality equally. So I try to bring equal attention to the different types of body hair. We all know that the hair on our head gets a lot of positive attention and the growth of which is encouraged, but hair on other parts of our body, not so much. So I wanted to decorate the body with some generic, ambiguous hair. In Chinese, there are actually 2 words for hair, one for the hair on your head, and the other for hair that's on the embarrassing parts of our body. I also spent some time looking at skin diseases and found that these abnormal growth on the skin, when altered in colors and sizes and put in different contexts, could actually start to appear kind of decorative. Agree? So then I made this group of work titled Qi-Pa. Qi-Pa is a Chinese term that normally refers to somebody with exceptional artistic talents, but I coined a new term by altering the second character. And these Qi-Pa pieces were made using the traditional Japanese high-relief chasing technique, which is a very organic process that works the metal like it's clay. And it produces pieces that are so 3-dimensional, you would almost think they were cast. I later had some production pieces based on the Qi-Pa series, and here you can see the front and back sides of the pieces to get a better sense of how they were hammered out of single sheets of metal. These pieces were also hammered from flat sheets of metal using the anti-classic raising technique. The excessive amount of hammering will give the thin metal sheets their springiness and also structural strength. I had to make my own chasing tools, and even though the process was really time-consuming, I was kind of excited and proud to be part of a long crafts tradition. So it might seem like it's always fun and romantic to be an artist, but the other side of my reality is that I do have to make a living. So even though I just spent 4 minutes trying to convince you that I only like weird-looking things, I do also make pretty things that hopefully people will buy. And I want to keep making things with my hands because I enjoy the process and I love being part of this crafts tradition. And I realized that my artwork can also bring people's attention to beauty in things that they otherwise might have missed. But sometimes I do lose sight of all this, and I kind of wonder, what is the point of making things that most of my friends, and ironically even myself, cannot even afford to buy? So I recently read this book by Lewis Hyde titled The Gift, and it gave me a new understanding of what it means to be an artist and to be artistically gifted. Because whatever I'm able to do and have done is never really mine. I'm just a channel, and my job as an artist is to keep the channel open and to pass on this gift. Thank you.